Just want to tell you about my little lady dolls. I've been knitting for approximately 15 plus years, blankets and things, hats, sweaters, scarves. But one day, after my great grandchildren were born, I started knitting baby clothes and blankets and toys, little toys for the great grands. And my daughter came to me one day and said, Mom, would you knit a doll for me? So I thought I have to knit a sassy doll for my grown up daughter. I can't give her a little baby doll. Well, I found a pattern and I really tried hard to create this little doll. And I did create her. And I told my husband, I think when I go back in my room, she's going to stand up and walk. That's how fascinated I was with her. And I actually have a picture of her. Let me see if I'm able to share my screen with you. I'm hoping that I can. If not, I'll just go ahead and I don't see my dolls here. But I'll go ahead and tell my story. Um, so anyway, my daughter, no, sorry about that. So my daughter loved her doll, loves her, love her. So I tried knitting more dolls to see if I can recreate what captured me, and I did. And I have not stopped knitting them. And that was, I believe, in 2016. So let me show you my dolls. This first little doll that I'm going to show you is Clarissa. Now, Clarissa is holding a glass of wine and she's wearing jewelry. She has on a beautiful necklace. She has a ring on her finger where her glass of wine is being held and a bracelet. On her other hand and arm, she's wearing what I called an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, some people say. She also has a little faux diamond ring on her finger as well. I knit the dolls from head to toe. I knit their clothing. Their what I call nail polish is actually yarn on her fingertips and on her toes. So they're in different colors. And I believe hers is like a dark, shiny blue. I also knit the hair. I curl the hair rather. For curly hair, I curl it up and I'll explain that to you how I do that. And for straight hair, I use a small iron and I straighten the hair and I put them in strand by strand. And this is Jayla. Jayla doesn't have anything in her hands, but she has on her jewelry. She's wearing a gold ring on this hand and a bracelet, and her nail polish is on as well, which is, of course, yarn. And she, too, is wearing her watch and a little faux diamond ring on her finger as well. Now, my little lady dolls sit in the chair. They are approximately from the tip of their toe to the top of their head, 10 inches tall, sitting in the chair. And yes, the doll comes with the chair. My husband makes the chairs for me, so he's happy to do it. He loves woodworking. So each doll will have their own chair as well. And if you would like her to have a book in her hand or have a glass of wine in her hand, you put that in the comments, and I will certainly see that she does have it in her hand when she arrives. And that goes for all of my dolls. This is Sammy. Sammy is just as sassy as she can be. She too is holding a glass of wine. If you don't want your doll holding wine, just say so, and she won't have the wine glass in her hand. That's not a problem. She's got on a beautiful gold bead bracelet and a ring on her finger. And she too has a watch on either an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. I've been told there could be either. And she has a green yarn, shiny. It's a little has a little glimmer in it for her toenails and her fingernails, and a nice little red stone in her ring. Now I do custom orders. I make custom order dolls. Those are the fun ones. Those are really fun. But this is me. It's mini me. It's my self-portrait. She's knitting. So if you have a doll in mind that you would like to see knitting or crocheting, just let me know in the comments when you order one. And I'll see that she comes supplied with her needles and yarn. But this is my business card holder. I'm actually in the process of knitting a doll right now for a lady lawyer, and it's a gift. So a little lady lawyer out there is going to be very surprised when she sees her business card holder. Yes, she's wearing eyeglasses just like me. So if you wear glasses, your doll will have glasses on. I just suggest you send me a picture of yourself or the person you're purchasing it for. Let me put her back. This is Claire. And Claire is holding a Bible in her hand. I don't know if you can see it because she's holding it to read. But let me take it out of her hand for a moment. And it's a little mini Bible. It's has about 12 pages of Bible verses in it. So if you would like your doll to hold a Bible, you most certainly will have your doll holding a Bible. I actually did a custom order for a doll holding a Bible. It was for a lady pastor. It was a gift for the pastor of a church. And she was overwhelmed with joy when she received her doll. Yes, I knit the clothing as well. And my dolls come in all skin tones. So just let me know what color skin tone you would like your doll if you don't see one that you like in my shop. So some people will ask me, how do you make them, Adrienne? How do you make these little ladies? Let me give you a brief rundown of how I make them. First, I knit all of the parts. I knit the head and the torso and the legs and the arms and the clothing. I make sure that's done. And then I seam them together. I stuff them with polyester fiber fill, and for my darker tone skin tone dolls, I have black polyester fiber fill. So if their clothing is dark, I use the black polyester fiber fill. So I have two types that I use. Their skeletal structure, for them to sit in this chair the way they do, I use pipe cleaners. But I don't use the pipe cleaners that you find in the craft store. I actually buy pipe cleaners. They're a little stronger, they're a little sturdier than the pipe cleaners that we use for regular crafts. These are what people who smoke pipes clean their pipes with. My needles, my little ladies are, I start with size 3 needle. And I usually use double points. They're just easier for me. But I start with a size 3 needle. Then I work my way down to a size 2 needle, which is usually in the arms and the legs where I'm working down. Then I go to a size 1 needle as I get closer to their wrists or closer to the bottom of their leg. Then I use a size 0 needles, and these are bent because they're so thin that when I'm knitting, they bend to the contour of my hand. I used to use wooden needles, little ones, but I cracked them all. They just broke. And last but not least, for her fingers, I use a size 00 knitting needles, and they too are bent. And that's clear. And this is Riza. And Riza is holding the big book of knitting, and it has about 12 pages in there as well. And it talks about knitting. It has tells you how to purl and how to knit. And she has a ponytail, and her hair is straight, not curly like some of the other dolls. And it's also two-tone. So I do all of that as well. And her jewelry, I make the jewelry. I must tell you, I'm fascinated. I had no idea that I could make jewelry, but I do. I have beads, and I just have fun in Joann's and Michael's. She's wearing a beautiful little necklace, and she has a belt around her waist. She too has a bracelets. I think she has 2 bracelets on that wrist and a ring on her finger. And of course, she's wearing her watch and her diamond on the other hand and arm. And she's wearing pink polish, fingernails and toenails. And she has a pink ribbon in her hair. Some people ask me, how do you make the hair? How do you get it straight? How do you get it curly? Well, let me show you how I make the curly hair. I take some yarn and I get a skewer, and I wrap the yarn around the skewer. And then I get my cookie sheet and set my oven to 350 degrees. And I get my cookie sheet and I place the yarn on this cookie sheet like this, so that it's not sitting in the cookie sheet. It's sitting on the top of the cookie sheet. And I dampen them slightly, and I put them in the oven for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes till they're nice and dry. And when I take them out of the oven, I unwind the yarn, and voila, it's curly. Let me just unwind some more. And I have curly yarn, and it stays curly just like that. I can actually almost style it. And for my straight hair, I have a mini iron, a mini seam iron, and I iron the yarn. Now, placing the yarn in the doll, I take my doll's head. Let me show you. Let me take out another piece here. And I will show you how I put them in, because I put them in her head one strand at a time. I find, I don't know if there's any knitters out there or crocheters, but I after I put the face and the eyelashes on, I find where I want the hairline to start. And if it's wrong, I can always take it out. But I find the bar, and I put my crochet hook through the bar. Then I take the hair or the yarn and I pull it through the bar, not all the way through, but just till I get to a nice little loop. And I pull this part through the loop, this part of the yarn. And voila. And I do her whole head like that. And you will see that in my dolls. This is Nikki. And you can see her curly hair. So you know now how I do it, one strand at a time. I'm a very patient person. I just love doing this. I have so much fun with these ladies. One doll takes me approximately 2 weeks to make, and a custom order doll takes 3 weeks and plus sometimes, depending on how much I have to order, what I need for the custom doll. But normally, on the average, it takes me a good 2 weeks to make a doll. And these little lady dolls are not for children. They're not for small children. They're not toys. They're for decorative purposes only. They look lovely sitting on a shelf, as you can see, or on your workspace, on your desktop. And they make wonderful conversation pieces. People just talk about them all the time. With every purchase, you receive 2 beautiful gifts. I have project bags, and I have them, they come in different colors and different patterns, but they're wonderful, not just for projects, but for makeup or any other thing that you may have that you would like. So you would automatically get a beautiful little bag. And I also have these beautiful little sewing pins. I don't know if you can see them on the screen very well, but they're beautiful sewing, just little pins, little sewing pins for people who sew or knit or crochet. So if you know anyone that has a pin cushion, or if you have a pin cushion, they will beautify your pin cushion. They will just sparkle up your pin cushion. And those will be your beautiful gifts with every purchase. Now, this is Jasmine. Jasmine is a little taller. So she's in a larger chair. She's about 13 inches high. Let me see, I have her dimensions here. She's 13 inches high. She's about 6.5 inches deep, whereas my other dolls are about 5 inches deep. And she's 4 inches wide, whereas my other dolls are about 3 inches wide. And she has straight hair, which I straightened on my little mini steam iron and put in one strand at a time with my crochet hooks, just as I showed you with the curly hair. And she too can come holding a glass of wine if you would like. She has on her watch, and she has a diamond ring on her finger as well. She's got a beautiful belt around her waist and a lovely necklace, and she has earrings. And she's wearing a bracelet on this wrist, along with a little gold ring. And she too comes sitting in her chair. All of the dolls will arrive when you order a doll, they all come in a beautiful gift box. So if it is for a gift, all you have to do is add a bow. But they will arrive with beautiful tissue paper and a gift in a gift box. Now, I not only make these lovely little dolls, I also make lovely little mermaid dolls as well. And let me introduce you to my Maya. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? Let me see, center. There she is in all her glory. I just love doing it. Let me tell you, you have no idea how much fun I have knitting these little ladies. Even though they take 2 weeks, just love doing them. When watching them come alive, and literally they do. They come alive. They speak to me. They are they're just fabulous. Now, ladies buy these, and I've been told by a few of them that they place them in their bathroom, and if they match with their decor, or they place them in their living room on a mantle or on a shelf. They just love them. I had no idea there were people out there that actually love mermaids and collect mermaids. All of my mermaids come wearing a seashell around their neck. I don't know if you can see hers. Amaya. She has a little seashell around her neck. And she too has fingernail polish. Now my custom mermaids, if you want a custom mermaid, they will have jewelry on. They will have ears with earrings and whatever jewelry that you would like in any color that you want. Oh, and this is Misty. Adorable, huh? Yes, this is Misty. Misty's got the cutest little face. Just something about her face. Every time I see that little face of hers, she just lights my heart up. Now, people also ask me, how do you do that? How do you see with those tiny needles and make and knitting those small tiny stitches? Well, I use a magnifying glass. I have to stand up to show you. But this is my magnifying glass. So it just sits right here. And then I have a very bright lit room and I have other task lamps around me. So I'm able to see very clearly just looking through my magnifying glass, and I can knit right here. So that's how I can see. And no, I don't watch TV when I'm knitting. I listen to music because music heals the soul. And I also have Audible books that I listen to. So that's always a pleasure to listen to music or read through listening a book. Are there any questions out there?
Yes. Yes. Hey, Adrienne. So someone asked, can you remove the dolls from the chair?
Oh, yes. The dolls are sitting in the chair right now with double face tape. So they can be taken right out of the chair if necessary. Yes.
Awesome. And I think there's another question. And someone asked, do you have an email address to contact you? I shared your website, your Etsy page, and your Instagram page to the link. But I think people wanted to know if there was a more direct way to
Oh,
connect with
yes.
you as well.
Yes. Hand knit gorgeous dolls at gmail.com.
Mm, I will send that. And curious. So I mean, you talked a lot about I heard you mention you kind of pass by how long it takes you to make each doll. So how you said two was it 2 weeks
Two
or
weeks.
will they
Yes.
all take 2 weeks or
2 weeks.
are they a little bit longer?
Some may be a little longer. It all depends. If I run out of a certain color, or if a person wants if I'm thinking, not a person, but if I'm thinking, oh no, I really would like her to have a pink top, and oh my gosh, I don't have enough yarn for that pink top, or that's not the pink I want, I have to order it. And we all know how the post office is working these days, so
Definitely.
it may take a little while longer. But normally, yes, I try to use the yarn that I have, and I have a lot of yarn in my
I'm sure
house.
my my family calls me the balloon lady because I do balloon design. So I could
Oh,
imagine your house with yarns. It would be
yes, it's
equally the
it's hidden
same.
everywhere. It's hidden everywhere. Everywhere there's a
We got
yes.
a lot of people responding saying that this is fabulous, this is beautiful. I love one thing that you mentioned that came up for me was that you know the state of mind almost that you're in when you're putting the dolls together. And it reminded me of a movie that I watched, and I can't remember exactly the name, but it talked about it was about a chef who was cooking, and when she was happy and she made food, people who ate the food were happy, and when she was sad, and I think one time she had cried into, while she was cooking, and everyone who ate the food were bawling their eyes out, crying.
Oh
And
my.
what you were sharing almost sounded like that, like these dolls are being, handcrafted with love. And I know you didn't get to share. But how much does a doll like this cost? So you talked about how intricate it is. You talked about the fine details of curling the hair and the jewelry and the all of the props that come with it and everything. So I'm just amazed at all of the stuff with how you curl the hair and the little even the little iron. Do you have a little
Oh yes,
ironing board too?
yes, yes, I do. It's wool. Yes, the board that I have is a yes,
A
a
small.
small board. Yes, that's enough. My workspace carries it all.
Okay.
And
Did you think
the
that
joy
this project say it
mhm.
again? I was
Oh, I
saying,
was
did you think that this project would have came, this idea of you doing something for your daughter would have blown into this amazing business?
I fell in love with the very first doll, and I'm still in love. I'm still enchanted. They
That's
bring about a joyfulness. That's what it feels like. There's a joyfulness inside of me. I have different stories. I sold a mermaid one day. Was knitting her when when that helicopter went down.
wow. Okay.
I was knitting this beautiful black mermaid, and after I knitted her, um, I named her Olympia for
Mm,
all those athletes that were on that plane.
mm, I
I
like.
love her. And I sold right away to someone in LA who loved Kobe.
Mm.